Evening, everybody. Just thought I'd come on here again and give you guys some good tips. My name is Eric Vranish. I'm a physical therapist. I enjoy serving the running community, and I enjoy running. I enjoy serving the running community a lot. These guys are driven to get better and stay injury-free, and sometimes just wanting to, keep the stress level down. And running is a fantastic way to do that, to stay healthy and have some friendly competition, against yourself, and just a good way to enjoy life. So anyways, just want to hop on here again today and talk about your hamstrings and how sometimes the best thing about or the easy way to treat your tight or sore hamstrings is to just simply stop stretching. That ends up being the easiest thing to do. There's some people end up straining their hamstring, and it actually does happen every now and then. They'll strain their hamstring. But the hamstring that stays strained and just doesn't go away, most of the time, that's when the hamstring is sometimes just simply the sciatic nerve. And if you're on here, go ahead and comment live. Let me know you're around. And if you're on replay, let me know. I'd love to dialogue with you. I enjoy serving the running community and just avid runners, people that enjoy running. So here we are. So yeah, so the hamstring is something that is, just ends up being kind of a Achilles heel of the thigh, so to speak. Once you have an Achilles or a hamstring issue, it tends to hang around, particularly when we get older and we sit around, we do our job, or maybe we have a long drive to work. So the problem ends up being when it just won't go away. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had a hamstring strain and it just simply stays around for months and months and months, and maybe revisits you a year later or 2 or 6 months later? If that's you, go ahead and comment below. There's just let me know. It's something that a lot of times, really a lot of hamstring strains that just won't go away end up being the sciatic nerve. And to be quite honest, a lot of the IT band problems on the outside of the thigh end up being, funny enough, the sciatic nerve. So why is that? So the sciatic nerve is about the size of your thumb. If you look at your thumb, it's not small, it's pretty big. So the problem with hamstring strains or IT band problems is that there's the sciatic nerve innervates nearly everything down the leg. And your thigh, it innervates the back and the outside of your thigh. The front and the inside are the front's femoral nerve, and the inside of the thigh are just a couple other ones. But what's hey June, so what's interesting is that a massive portion of the hamstring strains that come to me, whether they're just come off of the road and come into the clinic, or if they're referred by a physician and it says hamstring strain or IT band pain, most, or I can say really the majority of the time, it's an irritation of the sciatic nerve. almost every single time. Now, I'm not saying that hamstring strains don't happen. Obviously, they do. I mean, you see the black and blue on the back, and that's obviously a hamstring tear. So obviously, strains do happen. But the strains and the tears, I mean, imagine the irritation of the hamstring and the massive conduit going down your entire, back of your leg is the sciatic nerve, right? And so the sciatic nerve will certainly get involved in that, and particularly when it's just simply not going away. And the more we stretch our hamstrings, you straighten out your knee, and you bend forward, and maybe you bring your toes towards your nose while you're stretching out the entire nervous system from your back. Well, actually, your whole nervous system, but particularly from your back down your leg. And that tightness sometimes isn't your hamstring tightness. It's your sciatic nerve saying, I'm not feeling real good. And if you don't pay attention to me, I'm going to make sure I stay around for a long time. Sometimes when you stop stretching your hamstrings, which is most of the time stretching our sciatic nerve, the way we do it generally with our knees straight and our toes towards our nose, when you stop doing that, most of the time, the hamstring tightness or soreness tends to go away. And if you've had any kind of hip or back issues in the past, maybe you sit down for your job most of the day. Well, you're sitting on your sciatic nerve all day long. And so you want to go for a run, maybe after work, blow off some steam, and sure enough, you feel the tightness in your hammy for maybe the first mile, maybe 2 miles, maybe 10 minutes or so. And, after a while, it tends to kind of, feel pretty good. And then towards the end of the run, starts to get tight again, particularly when you're done. You sit down, maybe you stretch out a little bit. It's like, gosh, that thing is tight again. Most of the time, that's the sciatic nerve telling you I'm not feeling so fantastic. So one thing that I do, and I talk about rock tape all the time, it sticks a little better than kinesio tape, and the TheraBand tape's pretty good too. They have this really neat kind of option with TheraBand tape, is that it has these diamonds and like some other kind of shape to it that lets you know whether you've stretched it out 50% or 75%. Really kind of interesting way to go about it, and it sticks pretty good too. And which is generally you don't want to stretch a whole lot more than 75%, otherwise the tape actually gets a little bit weaker and doesn't do a fantastic job at doing what it's designed to do. So anyway, let me just show you a quick way to kind of make your hammy feel a little bit better on the road. But if you have hair in the back of your thigh, man, this is going to not feel good. But it'll make your hammy feel good when you're running. And if it bothers you that much. But anyway, and the sit-down jobs just don't do it for us. We got to modify our sitting position. Hey, Alan, good to see you, man. Thanks for hopping on. And Brooke, I see you, if you're still there. Hope you're doing well, Brooke. Anyways, so this tape can be used for like everything. It's amazing what it can do. Let me just kind of maybe turn this thing around while you're not seeing me. Here we go. And so, Eric and Amber, hey, how you guys doing? Hey, Brooke. So anyway, so what I end up doing most of the time, taking off maybe that just about an inch and a half, 2 inches at the very end, right? And let me just kind of, I wish I could do like a wide angle here. That would be fantastic. So, yeah, there we go. So anyway, if your hammy bothers you, which is likely the sciatic nerve, again, particularly if you've had it for, 3 or 4 months. Not all the time, but I would say most of the time, particularly if it keeps on coming up once in a while, or after a long run, or after you've had a long day at work, or after a long drive, You know, maybe it pops up every 3, 4, 5 months or whatever, maybe 6 months. All of a sudden it revisits you again. You have no idea why. Chances are in that condition or that point, it's not a strain, because normally you know when you did it, right? Most of the time, I'll say it again, most of the time it's the sciatic nerve just kind of letting you know it's not feeling so good. Anyway, so I lay down the first maybe inch or two and bring this thing up, and I'll stretch out maybe about, there we go, about maybe 50, 75%, almost up to my butt, right? Do this stuff in the clinic all day long. But anyway, yep, so here's another strip. And if you want to run and not feel it, I'll even overlap it by maybe 1/2 and go maybe 2 or 3 strips. On maybe a guy my size, maybe 2, maybe a guy larger, maybe 3, depending on how bad it feels, right? Anyway, almost up to my butt there. Consequently, there's this thing called hamstring syndrome. Look it up, it's an interesting one. Hamstring syndrome, and it's like right at your butt bone, your ischial tuberosity. Most of the time, what ends up happening is that, again, either you have a hamstring strain early on, or maybe even you tore it and you have the black and blue. So as it's healing, the nervous system tends not to do a very good job at sliding and gliding really well along your hamstring whenever you stride out. And so the sciatic nerve tends to get a little gunked up. On top of that, a really easy place for it to get gunked up is where there's a little, like a nerve branch going off the sciatic nerve and innervates that area where your ischial tuberosity, your butt bone is, and where your hamstrings attach to your butt. That's innervated right there. And so that area gets ticked off. And so you end up treating the sciatic nerve to make that feel better, because it's right next to where the sciatic nerve the sciatic nerve ends up kind of just coming around the outside of your ischial tuberosity where your hamstrings attach. Right through there and then down the outside and back your thigh. Anyway, so maybe you want to do a 3rd strip, and sometimes it's actually helpful. That's about 75%. I use this tape all the time, man. I go through rock tape and kinesio tape. I don't know, like I'm breathing or drinking water. Anyway, let me maybe get another shot of that. So that's kind of how it looks, right? The back and there we go. Back and outside of your hammy, kind of along where the sciatic nerve kind of goes down. And really, you just put it where you're mostly painful. But anyways, that's one reason why I tell my clients, stop stretching your hamstrings right now. Just stop. It's not helping you. It's making things worse because you're stretching the sciatic nerve. Particularly, let me show you one other thing. Particularly when we've been shown all the time, and this is how we stretch the hamstrings, right? We stretch them out by making our leg maybe straight, right? Pulling our toes towards our nose, feeling it in our calf. No, no, not supposed to do that. Don't do that anymore. The way I would suggest you stretch your hamstrings, and this is if you don't have any hamstring tightness when you're running. You don't feel that tightness when you're running. If you feel it tight when you're running, I would stay away from stretching your hamstrings for a number of weeks, to be honest. But I actually go down on a bent knee. And then you'll feel it actually in your hamstring right here, that big old ball of muscle that tends to show up. And then lean down on it and maybe slowly straighten your leg. And you should feel it in the back of your thigh. You should not feel it in the back of your knee. If you feel it in the back of your knee, stop. You don't have any muscles in the back of your knee, you have tendons. You have your calf, but you don't have your hamstring. So it's not going to help you. If you stretch out your hamstrings while you have some tight hamstrings, because chances are, if you feel tight while you're running, high likelihood, in my opinion, that the sciatic nerve is the thing that's kicking off and giving you pain signals or making you feel tight. Particularly if it's sore and tightens up after the run. Yeah, that's generally your sciatic nerve. I'm telling you that it's not feeling so good. Yeah, so I hope this helps. Let's see here. Who's all on here, man? Scott, thanks for watching. Thanks for hopping on, man. Ricky Fernandez, Angel. Hey, Angel. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jen. I remember you, Jen. Sábado, Domingo. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. I don't get it. Maybe you can help me out there, June. Greg, Chris, and Eddie, all you guys, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it. I enjoy talking to runners. You guys got any questions about your hammy stuff? Tight IT bands that are generally the same problem. Sometimes you can roll those out and it'll feel better. But often enough, I see it where you stretch out your IT band and it just stays tight. Generally, if you stretch something out and you're pretty religious about stretching it out and it stays tight, chances are it's not the muscle. It's the sciatic nerve, particularly when it's the IT band or the hamstring, or the butt for that matter. You guys got any questions about anything? Any comments about anything? I gotta post this, but I will be doing. I said I'd be doing I'd be revisiting a webinar about tight hammy and IT band and butt stuff, because so much of it is interrelated. I got to delay that one more week because I want my book to be ready, at least digitally, for you guys, so you guys can get it. And I think the webinar would be a perfect time to launch it and have it available to you guys. It's just something I've been working on for almost a year now. It's taken way long, but hopefully you guys will benefit from it, because the way our medical system is, it takes a while to get to the right person most of the time. And the guys that we generally go to first, the physicians, end up don't having a whole lot in their tool shed that can actually allow the body to heal. Just give us some of the drugs that it's drugs and injections and surgeries, unfortunately. Let's see, Eddie. I haven't been able to touch my toes in years, but I really don't have to, so I'm not too worried. Right, yeah, good. What about a high hamstring ache directly below the glute? Standing straight leg stretch. What about a high hamstring ache? Yep. Most of the time, a high hamstring ache, unless you recently strained it last couple of weeks, or it's been black and blue and within the last couple of months, a high hamstring ache, I gotta tell you, Eddie, is very likely the sciatic nerve. Yay, man. Man, I gotta tell you, David, yeah, we need to talk. I'm doing some other stuff, so my week is getting quickly very busy after my hour-long drive home. So we gotta talk. But anyways, yeah. So Eddie, standing straight leg stretch. I hate that stretch, Eddie. I'm sorry to tell you, man. I hate that stretch because it puts the entire nervous system on stretch. And if you've had any back pain in the past, that's nerve related. If you've had any hip pain, that's nerve related. It's essentially the standing straight leg raise stretch. When you're standing straight up and you go down, try to touch toes. That's almost that's one of the straight leg raise tests that we do as physical therapists to test out the nervous system and see if it's irritated. So I am not a fan of that one, Eddie. Not a fan at all. Tell you something that's interesting, Eddie. If you do this, I got to show you something. Right. Yep. Sometimes static stretching is not your friend. So what I do, this will be fun for you, Eddie. Check this out, right? Try this. I don't know if you can see it. Hang on a minute. So there we go. So Eddie, try this and get back to me. Let me know how it goes. But if you go down, right, I think this is what you're talking about, the standing straight leg raise stretch, feet together or whatever. Now you go down, you go as far as you can, you get to a certain point, kind of mark that, right? Like maybe touch your lower leg where you kind of feel it, and try this for maybe 20, 30 seconds. All I'm doing, I keep my feet on the ground and I'm just bending and straightening. I'm alternating, bending and straightening my knees, right? That's all I'm doing. My feet are on the ground. Let me show you so you guys can see this. Still, let me know. It'd be kind of interesting. Anyway, go back and forth. Give it like 20, 30 seconds. You might feel a little weird, but go ahead and do it anyway because it's interesting. You'll find out fairly quickly whether or not it's a hamstring problem or a sciatic nerve or just nerve tension or nerve irritability, right? So you go back and forth. I'm obviously not stretching my hamstrings when I do this, right? Not stretching my hamstrings. But Eddie, I got a feeling you'll go farther down. So feet together again and then go down and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can go farther. Most of the time, that's exactly what happens. And so the point of that, the point of doing that is that when you go down and you feel like you can go a little bit farther, obviously, and you didn't stretch your hamstrings, it goes, the only structure back there that can limit you going forward more is your sciatic nerve. That'll be very interesting. Oh, Eddie, I love hills, man. I run a lot on the hills and long runs, 15 plus. Yeah, man, I love hills. I remember I had my, when I started training for my first marathon, I was running on a couple of peaks in North Carolina. It was called Crowder's Mountain. They had two peaks. One peak had 334 stairs at the top. And then the other one had, you almost had to scramble to get to the top of the other one. So I love hills, man. And I went back and forth and ran for about 4 hours. And my Garmin told me that I couldn't believe it. I plugged it in. I still have a hard time believing it. But if you put the total ascents all together, it was 6,800 feet total ascent. I just, I love the hills. When I went running, when I was a kid and went for a bike ride, I was always going back home and I'd be going uphill. So it's always where the reward was, right? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Where the food was, where the shower was, where family was, where home was. So I enjoy going up the hills. Maybe that's why, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, give it a shot, Eddie. Let's see, I'll give that a try. It'll be interesting. If you can go farther, chances are the sciatic nerve is letting you know that it's not quite that happy, and that might be the limiting kind of a factor there, or maybe why you're tight. I'll give that a try. I was talking about the stretch where you're standing on one leg with the other propped up on an object, and you lean into the stretch. Yeah, not a fan of that one either. It's I think I know exactly what you're talking about. You're standing up and you got your foot up on something. Yeah, running down them. Yeah, watch your knees, man. But if I'm right, If I think I know what you're talking about, Eddie, it's when you're, let's see here, I think I'm right. Yeah, well, kind of this thing, right? Yeah. Man, man, I feel that. I don't know about you, but I feel that in my calf. You know, I mean, I have some tight hamstrings, sciatic nerve kind of issues myself. So if you do that and you feel it in your calf, no way, Jose. that's that's a sciatic nerve letting you know. I do that, and the first thing I feel like is, yep, yeah. So when you feel it in your calf, it's if that's the right stretch, I think that's what you're talking about. If you feel it in your calf, um, you know, you're not stretching your calf. That's what I felt when I did that. I felt it in, you know, a hamstring area, but I felt it in my hamstring area, the back of my knee, and down into my calf. So, no, not a fan of that stretch, Eddie. Not at all, man. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Well, if you do that and you feel it in your calf, certainly not the stretch you want. If you feel it in your hamstring, I'm still very, yeah, it's good, Dave. That's called neural or fat. Yeah, it's the neurodynamics are not good. But that's in, you know, most of us. Doesn't mean that we have to have a problem with it, though. Doesn't mean we have to have pain. It's just there's ways around it to get more mobility and not worry about it. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Eddie. The stretch that I like doing, I don't know if you were on when I showed it, but the stretch I like doing, because you'll feel it. You should. I bend my knee. Counterintuitive, right? I bend my knee when I do. Let's see if I can do this right. I bend my knee when I do the stretch. Way counterintuitive. I get that. Beautiful flowers. But the way I do it, I'm going to bend my knee. And that's a lot of bend. But I do not want to feel it in my calf. I do not want to feel it in the back of my knee. I want to feel it in my thigh. So what I'll do, I'll keep my knee bent and then maybe slowly try to straighten my leg. I should feel it right here, nowhere else. And even then, like David was saying, when I'm there, I'll oscillate a little bit. Light oscillations. So in the stretch, but oscillate a little bit. Nerves like a little bit of motion. Muscles, well, they can handle the stretch the whole time, but the nerves just simply don't like that stuff. It's not worth it. Because most of the time they're going to tell you to say, don't do it. But sometimes you don't know it's them. It's them telling you that. Sure, Eddie, yeah, let me know. Try that little test. So if you feel it higher in the hammy, if you feel it right on your butt bone, that is I don't know, when you say higher in the hammy, if you're talking about where the hamstring attaches to your butt bone area, be careful of that one too. Most of the time, the way to get around this and make it effective for the nerves and the muscles is to have your knee bent. If you're going to try to get some length out of your hamstring and not tick off your nervous system. Totally counterintuitive, I get that. But I've seen across the board, I tell just about everybody, unless they're former gymnasts or take your pick, or former dancers, stop stretching the hamstring. Away from the knee. Didn't mean glute. I don't know what you mean there, Eddie. So you feel it away from the knee, which is good, as long as you feel it like mid-substance, right? If you feel it in the mid-substance, you know, the middle of your hammy, you know, that's actually where you want to feel it. I still caution people though, that if they feel it anywhere and their knee's not bent, I have a suspicion. If the hamstrings just tend to be tight and they tend to be tight all the time, mid, okay, yeah. So that may not be that may not mean you know, may not be bad. But if there's a tendency for the hammies to always be tight, I'm not saying this is you, Eddie, but if there's a tendency for the hamstrings to feel tight often, you know, most of the time it's not the hamstring. Generally, the length, if you're consistently stretching your hamstrings, generally the length that you have and that you've gained will not cause you to have a tightening feeling there much. Often enough, it really is a sciatic nerve. But yeah, most of the time, not all the time, and maybe it's not in your case, Eddie, but very, very often, and I would say the majority of the time, the sciatic nerve is the one that is the limiting factor in trying to gain some length out of the hammy. But yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I tend to stretch the hamstring when my knee's bent. I tend not to do it when I'm straight. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, get up early, man. Hit the run early. Good Lord. Where do you live, Eddie? You must be like you got to be in this southern area somehow, along the southern portion of the United States, I'm assuming. Yeah, I remember I had to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning to go for my mid distance when I was doing my marathons. It was like a 13-14 miler at 4:30 in the morning. I had to get up and do my run. But anyway, I hope this helps for you guys. And Danmar, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate your time. Appreciate everyone's time. Really, if you guys are on live, go ahead and comment live. It's great to you know, just be able to chat with you guys and maybe be helpful somehow and just create some dialogue to make things a little bit easier for you on your run. Yeah, and if you're on replay, comment replay. It'd be great to dialogue with you guys like Eddie and David and see anybody else? Catherine. Hey, hope you're doing well. Anybody else on there? Yeah, hang on. What's going on down here? Sometimes that can be referral from the gluteus medius minimus. Yeah. Herb, good to see you, man. I'm just about kind of wrapping it up about hammies and why it may be your sciatic nerve and maybe why you don't want to stretch it. Michael, thanks for hopping on. I'm just about to wrap it up here. But yeah, I'm just grateful that I have this option, you know, to serve you guys and make it easy for some good content to come out and, you know, just shotgun the world. Anybody else that happens to be up and worth listening to. So anyways, God bless you guys. I pray you guys and your families are well. And yeah, happy Thursday tomorrow. Love you, David, too, man. Yeah, we need to do that soon. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate your time, man. We'll see you later, and hopefully I'll do another one tomorrow. Sometimes this week has been kind of crazy, but it's good crazy. Take care, guys. God bless you.